If your high school team does not get the exposure that it needs to get from college coaches and you're thinking about playing AAU basketball, today I'm going to give you 5 things to consider when picking the best AAU team for you.
Hoop loud.
So what do you do when you want to play at the college level, but you're from a small town and no college coaches go to see you play? Some people utilize AAU. Not everybody, but some people do. But you have to be careful with AAU basketball because not all AAU teams are created equal. Just because you're under the umbrella of AAU, that doesn't mean you're getting the same exposure, the same amount of recognition, the same opportunity that others are getting. So make sure that you realize that not all AAU teams are equal. Not all AAU teams go to the same big tournaments. Not all AAU teams are going to have the same amount of basketball coaches watching them. Not all AAU teams are going to have the same opportunities. So how do you decipher between which AAU team is worth your time and your energy and your money and your patience and which AAU teams you need to stick away from? The first tip that I will give you is a tip that was given to me here recently by a person I'm going to interview for the channel. I don't want to spoil who I'm going to interview, but this person played Division I basketball and attributes AAU for being the rhyme or reason, one of the rhyme or reasons of why that person was able to get a Division I scholarship. But the person was telling me, if you're in high school, you're thinking about which AAU team should I try out for or which AAU team should I contact, look at the top 10 to 20 players that came out of your state in the last graduation class and look at what AAU programs they were a part of. Because 9 times out of 10, they came from an AAU program. So that will give you a good list of sifting through which AAU programs or which AAU teams you should even want to be a part of. Is start from the ones that have proven to help players do the very thing that you want to do, and that is get exposure and play at the next level. Number 2, back to what I said before, all AAU teams are not created equal. So make sure that you're looking at what tournaments the AAU team is playing in. Whatever one that you're thinking about playing for, which tournaments are they going to? Are they going to some of the bigger tournaments or are they going to more local tournaments? Have they had players that you would deem as successful as far as played in that program and then went on to college as well? Do they have that? If they don't have that, then you might be barking up the wrong tree. Number 3, the third thing I will say is these coaches that are coaching these AAU teams, you need to make sure in order to pick the best AAU team for you, you want to pick an AAU team that has a coach that's been around for a while, a coach that's been respected in the community, a coach that does what he or she says they're going to do and takes care of things, and a coach that actually coaches. I've been to some of these tournaments, and some of these coaches are coaches by title, they're coaches by title and nothing more, meaning they got the label of being a coach, but they're not coaching. That's why a lot of these high school coaches aren't really fans of AAU coaches, because some of these AAU coaches are just glorified chaperones. Some, not all, but they're not teaching you the game. So that's why a lot of high school coaches are not fans of them, because they feel like they allow you to have bad habits and they have to come in and kind of unteach your bad habits when you get in the regular season of high school basketball. So realizing that you want to make sure that you're, if all possible, join an AAU team that actually you're going to be learning throughout the process and being coached throughout the process and getting better, because you can learn bad habits that can actually hurt you in the long run. 4, I would say contact players that actually play for those programs that you're interested in playing for. Contact those players and find out what they have to say about those programs. The crazy thing about it is, and the harsh truth that a lot of people don't want to hear is, if you're good enough, people are going to want to contact you. So if you're saying, like, I'm in Little Wissy, Arkansas, I'm in Little Wissy, Georgia, and nobody, and I'm never going to get recruited out of the school I'm in right now. You may be right. You may be right. No one goes to that school, especially if you're not winning. If you're not winning ball games, and there's no reason for them to come to your school. You can be an individually good player, but if your team's not winning, then typically no one's going to come to your school to watch you play as far as getting recruited are concerned. But if you're good in high school, people talk and people want you to be a part of the AAU teams. You have people reaching out to you because they want you to be on the AAU team because they feel like you're going to help them get an advantage on winning ball games. But if people don't feel like you're good enough, then they're not going to reach out to you. So you reaching out to them, it could help just kind of give you a gauge of what teams are doing well and how to try out, because you can still make those teams. But typically, the best of the best high school players out there, they're already getting offers and getting contacted by these AAU teams, because the AAU teams want the best competitive chance to win. So obviously, they're going to be seeking out new talent every year. And my fifth tip is this: I need you to understand that AAU basketball is a resource. It's an ingredient, but it's not the only ingredient. I didn't play AAU basketball. A number of my teammates didn't play AAU basketball, and they went on to play college. So it's not the end-all, be-all. What I would tell you to do, and I've said this over and over on the channel, is be cognizant of the relationships you have with your coaches, right? The coaches that actually stand the test of time, the people that are in there 10, 20, 30, 40 years of coaching, these individuals already have established relationships with other coaches at various levels. And I say that because that is the only reason why I got my opportunity playing at a junior college out of high school. Okay? I wasn't getting my doors beat down from coaches around the country. I didn't have that. But what I did have was I had a work ethic, and I had a skill set. I was talented, and my coach in high school knew the coach that I was going to eventually play for in college, and made a phone call, said, hey, would you give this guy a shot? I redshirted the first year, paid my first year, and then got a scholarship every year after that. But it took that relationship they have already had. Not AAU, but the relationship they already had. So even if you're sitting on the end of the bench and you're thinking, this coach is not going to be able to be a resource for me, I'm telling you that it could still happen, even if you're sitting on the bench. Because I can tell you how you can sabotage yourself. Sitting on the end of the bench, not getting in playing time, pouting, going to practice and not giving it all, not being a team player. You think somebody's going to serve as a reference or pick up the phone and call for you as far as playing in college? No, no one's going to do that. It always amazes me how many people want to blame their current situations on their coaches. They want to blame the reason they didn't go to play college basketball is because their coach in high school didn't like them. Well, you have to ask yourself the question, why don't they like you? The fingers have to go back to you. They don't like you. Because here's the thing. If your coach felt that you were going to make him or her look good by going to college, then they would put you out there, and they would make sure that they would call people for you. If they really felt that you were like the best of the best on the team and they wanted you to do well, then typically, because it makes them look good. If I have a talent that I want to put out there, if I have a player that's playing for me that I want to put out there, if I have a player that I know can play at the next level, it would make me look good for him to eventually be able to say he came from my program. It doesn't make me look good for you not to go. But if you're a knucklehead, if you're not taking care of your grades, if you're not serious about the game of basketball, and then I call people up and I say, hey, yeah, you need to get this guy, and then you get there and you show you're behind and you're in trouble all the time, then that damages the relationship that I have with that coach. Not only does it damage the relationship I have with the coach, it damages possible opportunities for other ball players to want to play that comes after you. So this whole idea of the coach don't want to see me shine, he don't want me to go to college, like why? Because if you did what you're supposed to do, then it would do nothing but help him. It wouldn't hurt him. But if you're a risk, then yeah, I'm not going to pick up the phone and call, because you might mess up what I got going on. And I'm not going to have that. So I hope all this is helpful for you as far as AAU basketball, because a lot of it is kind of learning as you go. So hopefully this video was helpful for you.